In this video, I'm going to outline the newly found science on why men who have used low-carb diets in the past are now experiencing insulin resistance and their body's unable to process carbohydrates correctly. So in this video, we're going to dive into a couple of different sciences on carbohydrates and insulin resistance, the overall outlining problem of what has happened within the last 10 years with ketogenic diets, the science behind why low-carbohydrate diets and insulin resistance with ketogenesis, and then what we're going to also cover is how to fix insulin sensitivity with carbohydrate metabolism. So if you guys don't know me by now, my name's Adam Bunnell. I'm an online fat loss specialist and I specialize in metabolic health. I specialize in a process called metabolic priming, which I've currently helped 400 different people in 7 different countries get to lean body fat compositions, repair their metabolisms, and get to very low body fat numbers using a process called metabolic priming and carbohydrate metabolism. So in this video, we're going to cover why people who have been losing low carb diets for the last 5 to 10 years are now experiencing severe insulin resistance, why you eat more food and you just gain more weight, why you add carbohydrates to your diet, you gain a few pounds the next day, and why you go out to eat and you go out on the weekends that you just gain 5 to 10 pounds because your body's not processing carbohydrates correctly. So getting right into the video, this is my client Wayne. Wayne came to us eating under 100 grams of carbohydrates from a previous coach, and we were able to get him to 350 grams of carbs on the right at 8% body fat. And just to think if you're skeptical about this or you think what we do is a gimmick, I actually want to show you what Wayne had to say about going through our program and going through the carbohydrate metabolism metabolic priming method.
Really within the first 2 weeks, I saw changes holistically. Went through my first week to 2 weeks and you all added calories. I was like, what? And then I lost again. I can get used to this, right? Seeing the results and having the calories added, this sounds crazy, right? By week 2, I couldn't believe the results I was seeing. And then to have carbs and calories added on top of it and then see the results week after week, this is crazy. And I mean, again, the pictures speak for themselves, right? Again, a lot of what I've achieved is all your fault, man. So thank you.
So that was Wayne, one of our clients that we currently work with who came from previous coaches who pushed low carb diets in the past. And so the problem really is when it comes down to it is that low carb diets have been pushed amongst the fitness industry advocates for the purpose of short-term fat loss. They're trying to put a band-aid over a bullet hole for the weight loss problem. But the problem is that the men who have been doing low carb diets for some time now have down-regulated metabolism and down-regulated their body's processes of utilizing glucose correctly, which now puts them in a position where they're stuck under 2,000 calories, and anytime they eat more carbohydrates, they gain the weight back very, very rapidly. So the science shows that 70% of the people who lose 20 plus pounds using low carbohydrate diets gain all, if not more, weight back than initially starting. And this number actually goes to 90% after 2 years post-dieting. So people don't have a problem losing weight. You listen to this right now, you've probably lost weight using a low-carb diet, but I'm guaranteeing you that you've gained it back. Just based upon the numbers, 90% of the people who use these diets after 2 years gain the weight back, if not more. This is the reason that you gain the weight back, and the reason anytime you eat more carbs, you gain the weight, because your body is restricting the use of carbohydrates. So a couple key factors on why restricting carbohydrates and using ketogenesis and using like low-carb diets just doesn't provide any value to your body whatsoever from a long-term perspective is one, resisting nutrients, right? Glucose from carbohydrates is the preferred energy source for our bodies, particularly for our brains and our muscles. If you're a high-level individual who has a job that requires a lot of mental stress, you're putting your body in a state of discomfort, lowering your carbohydrates. Your brain isn't working properly. You're probably experiencing brain fog, digestive issues, and everything in between. Foods like bread, pasta, fruits, starchy vegetables also provide essential vitamins, minerals that are vital for health, as well as phytonutrients that help reduce inflammation. So a lot of the cases you can even see with our client Wayne up here is that on the left, using this low-carb diet, he looks almost kind of like inflamed. He like a soft look to him. And this is what happens when you start to accrue constant inflammation from low-carb diets, but not getting rid of that inflammation correctly by utilizing, certain approaches within carbohydrates that lower inflammation and improve parasympathetic nervous system damage. So in practice, we've seen most people who restrict in such a way that they develop nutrient deficiencies and metabolic changes that make insulin resistance worse. Additionally, carbohydrate serves as a key source of fiber, which supports digestive health, promotes feelings of fullness and satiety, and regulate blood sugar. sugar. The short term is carbs are certainly not bad for you, even if you have insulin resistance. And why miss out on the benefit of the nutrients if you don't have to? So cutting carbs can backfire. Something that isn't talked about enough in the health and wellness space is how low carb diets can backfire, leading to weight cycling, binge eating, both have negative impacts on insulin resistance. People who restrict carbohydrates may experience rapid initial weight loss, often due to water weight loss from initial glycogen depletion. This weight loss is usually not sustainable. In fact, evidence suggests that 90% of people will regain the weight back they lost, if not more. This cycle of weight loss and regain, known as weight cycling, places significant stress on the body. It can disrupt hormonal balances and reduce metabolic rate and increase inflammation. Beyond that, the strict rules and limits of low-carb diets can contribute to feelings of deprived or anxious around food, like increase of likelihood of binging. And the practice of it is just like when you restrict yourself, it's just not a good time. Like if you want a long-term sustainable health and physique, and you want longevity within your lifestyle and within your health, you need something that's more sustainable and designed for your overall biology to reduce inflammation, to improve hormones, to improve recovery, but also perform at a very high level. The truth be told, major mental health challenges can come from low carbohydrate diets. It's a big reason why long-term effectiveness for managing insulin resistance is up for debate. Because when you cut carbohydrates, for instance, you probably will lose 15 to 20 pounds within the first week or two, right? Maybe even like a month, you keep losing weight. But at some certain point, you plateau out. Why that is because you've depleted all the glycogen and water from your muscles. So now you're officially starting to actually lose fat, right? But you're at a point that you're so inflamed that your body is restricting fat loss. Some low carbohydrate diet experience side effects like mood changes, fatigue, brain fog. This is because carbohydrates play a crucial role in the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates mood. Drastically reducing your carbohydrate intake can lead to fluctuations with serotonin, potentially resulting in irritability or feelings of depression. Individuals on low-carb diets can experience a challenge when dining out, attending social gatherings, and sharing meals with family and friends. The restrictive nature of these diets can limit food choices and make it difficult to eat in social settings. They feel isolated, frustrated, and overall, when you just eat these diets or you get off the diet or you stray away from the diet, you gain the weight back. Furthermore, the emphasis on weight loss and popular low-carb diet culture can provoke disorders, binge eating, fuel preoccupations with food and weight. These behaviors unfortunately increase the risk for developing relapses on eating disorder. So we know that 1, it's just not very sustainable. 2, it causes a lot of metabolic defects. 3, it causes a lot of nutrient deficiencies. And 4, if you're a high performing individual with a very stressful job, you manage clients, you manage teams, you manage a business, or maybe you're just the common family guy who loves spending time with their family, you start to down-regulate serotonin levels, start to down-regulate energy levels to get brain fog, and you're just a shell of the person that you used to be because you've down-regulated all the metabolic processes and all of your energy levels, so you're no longer capable of dealing with high-stress environments. So the science behind low-carbohydrate diets and insulin resistance and ketogenesis. So when cells say no to insulin, the insulin hormone is secreted by the pancreas, and when low-carbohydrate diets and protein are consumed, carbohydrates are digested and broken down into glucose molecules. Protein is digested and broken down into amino acids. Both are absorbed by the bloodstream in the digestive system. Therefore, insulin takes a glucose and amino acids from the blood and delivers them to the cells that can be used for glucose for energy and the protein building things that the body needs. If there are extra glucose molecules or amino acids that can be used or stored, they get converted into body fat. So yes, this is where like carbohydrates do get their like bad rap. If you overconsume on them, you will gain weight. They'll get put into amino acids. Extras get stored as glucose molecules as in the fat cells. But when you eat the correct amount of carbohydrates, because every single one of you listening to this right now, you listen to this because you want information on how much carbohydrates you should eat. You don't know how many carbohydrates that you need to be eating. And it's all very tailored to where exactly your metabolic processes actually do lie. Because if you've been eating 2,000 calories and you add 1,000 calories on top of it of carbohydrates, you will gain back weight very quickly. So the tightly regulated system goes haywire when cells stop responding as well and start resisting insulin that's trying to shuttle glucose in. So the pancreas whips into overdrive and produces more insulin to overcome the insulin resistance. At some point, the pancreas fatigues, it can't keep up with the demand, so inadequate insulin is produced to handle the onslaught of glucose coming in, or insulin receptors on cells take in less and less of the glucose that's circulating, or both. So glucose builds up, hovering dangerously high and lowering in the bloodstream, and where it can do damage in different parts of the body since blood travels through the blood vessels everywhere. So diving deeper into the actual science, they've done a study in the National Institute of Health that has a correlation between low carbohydrate intake and trends of insulin resistance and metabolic acidosis in healthy, lean individuals. And in the introduction, they say both obesity and poor diet are considered a major risk factor for triggering insulin resistance. So yes, if you're overweight, absolutely, yeah, you might have insulin resistance, and you might need to lower the carbohydrates to lower the calories. But if you're a healthy, lean individual who wants to get even healthier, wants to lower your body fat percentage, wants to feel better, look better, but have better mental clarity, these low carbohydrate diets are put you in a worse position. So this study presents a cross-sectional observation study that aimed to the low carb diet intake in healthy individuals of normal weight with regard to glucose homeostasis, inflammatory and metabolic parameters. So the results show that low carbohydrate intake was found significantly correlated to dysregulated glucose homeostasis measured by elevations in HOMA-IR, assessment and C-peptide levels. Low carbohydrate intake was found to be coupled with lower serum bicarbonate and serum albumin levels with an increase in anion gap indicating a metabolic acidosis. So the discussion finds the overall findings of the study show that for the first time, low carbohydrate intake in healthy individuals of a normal weight might lead to dysfunctional glucose homeostasis, increased metabolic acidosis, and the possibility of triggering inflammation by C-peptide elevation in plasma. Carbohydrate metabolism is a fundamental biomechanical process that ensures constant supply of energy to living cells. So, I want to cover how to fix this, and it does come in the sense of carbohydrate metabolism. And this is one of our clients that we have worked with. He came to us with an A1C of 11, was on a bunch of different, actual medications to improve all his health markers, and we were able to get him from 1,900 calories to 2,900 calories and lower his A1C from 11 to 7.6 using carbohydrate metabolism. So where carbohydrate metabolism gains its advantage is that when you understand that, one, the body does use carbohydrates as its primary fuel source, if we structure the body to where it is only using carbohydrates as a primary fuel source, results become predictable. Where ketogenic gets its popularity is that the fat adaptation state allows your body to transition into using fat and using proteins by just cutting out a carbohydrate. But the problem is, and where insulin sensitivity starts to come up in this equation, is when you cut those carbohydrates out, you downregulate the glucose homeostasis process and you downregulate the way that the body actually utilizes glucose properly. So carbohydrate metabolism is not only more sustainable, it's more healthy, but it is a biomechanical process that already aligns with the body's biology. And so carbohydrate metabolism, in an essence, is where we take the body and transition it from a fat adapted state into utilizing carbohydrates correctly and improving glucose homeostasis. And so this is what we currently specialize in. We currently specialize in helping men gain back their carbohydrate metabolism advantage and gain back their metabolism through the biomechanical process of carbohydrate metabolism. So getting into carbohydrate metabolism and kind of covering it from a full is carbohydrate metabolism is crucial for providing the body with energy and plays a role in several other bodily functions. It's a primary where the body gets fuel for its needs, especially for the brain and muscles. This process also influences blood sugar control, energy storage, and the body's ability to use other nutrients like fat. So energy production. Carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, which is the body's main source of energy. The glucose is produced into ATP, the energy currency of the cell, through cellular respiration. The body relies on carbohydrates for energy during physical activity, even for basic functions like breathing and maintaining body temperature. The brain relies almost exclusively on glucose for fuel. So blood sugar regulation. Insulin helps regulate blood glucose levels by allowing cells to absorb glucose for energy, storing excess glucose as glycogen. Carbohydrate metabolism plays a role in preventing both hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. Fluctuations in blood sugar can affect energy levels, mood, and even cognitive function. Glycogen storage. Excess glucose is stored as glycogen in the liver and cells and other metabolic processes. Carbohydrate metabolism can influence lipid fat metabolism. It also plays a role in the synthesis of other important molecules in the body. Carbohydrates, specifically those with fiber-rich sources, can contribute to digestive health and satiety. Some studies show that consuming enough carbohydrates can help with weight. So what we use from a more scientific aspect within every single one of our clients is called carbohydrate metabolism. And it's for the men who've been struggling with low-carb diets and been fed fed misleading information for the last 10 years by the industry that low carbohydrate diet is the answer to all your problems. We've already covered the numbers. 90 to 95% of those people that do low carb diets gain it back. So now we start to think about, like, why is people having a weight regain problem? And it's because that when you do low carb diets, you put your body in a spot to where it's very insulin resistant and very subject to rapid weight regain. Other ways, using carbohydrate metabolism, you allow the body to utilize its main fuel source and utilize its main energy source properly. Now, to transition the body out of a fat metabolism state into a carbohydrate metabolism state, that's where the nuances come in. That's where the individualization comes in. That's when understanding where your current metabolism hormone panels lie. That's when understanding where your current calories are, where your current carbohydrates are, and allowing the body to transition into the carbohydrate metabolism state. And for our clients, sometimes it looks like adding 25 grams of carbohydrates every 2 weeks. Some people transition faster. Some people transition slower. We've had clients that take up to 3 weeks for their body to properly transition into using 25 more grams of carbohydrates. So when our clients check in, we check in with them every single week. They check in every single week with their weight, with their body composition, with their energy levels, with their digestion, with their strength in the gym, or the strength in the gym increasing, overall fatigue levels. And so we can understand by key biomechanical markers and data analysis where our clients need to be improved and if we can add more carbohydrates. And if all the data aligns and we are able to give our clients more carbohydrates, we give a tiny bit of carbohydrates more to our clients, and then we wait for the body to transition properly. Because the body is a very smart organism. It's an organism that's much smarter than you and I. So we have to let it do its part in the transition process to utilizing glucose properly. And so what it looks like is when our clients check in, we might give them 25 more grams of carbohydrates and wait till the body transitions, or we might give them 50 grams of carbohydrates and wait till the body transitions. We might wait 3 weeks for the body to utilize the newfound carbohydrates correctly. But the problem is, and where most people will go wrong, is that they will add a ton of carbohydrates at once, and their body won't be able to process all those carbohydrates. That's when they'll gain the weight back very rapidly. They'll experience immense brain fog, and it feels like they are highly fatigued and highly tired because their body's flooded with carbohydrates that they don't know what to do with. There is a process aligned with transitioning the body into a carbohydrate metabolism state, and it's understanding the transitionary period and the key data to actually outline per specific client. And there is no certain straight formula on how to do this correctly. We take our formulas and we customize each one of them individual to how our clients actually check in. And we make decisions based upon data. There is no certain two clients that get the same program and get the same adjustments each and every single week. And that's the importance of understanding biology and understanding how to transition the body out of a carbohydrate metabolism state. So I can tell you right now how you can start to improve your overall bodily transformation and understanding carbohydrate metabolism and transitioning the body into carbohydrate metabolism. And all you need to do is, one, lower your fats, because a higher fat intake will construct a process that does not align with the carbohydrate metabolism, because you want a lower fat intake so the body is forced to primarily use carbohydrates. And when you lower the carbohydrate intake or the fat intake ever so slightly, add in its place carbohydrates. So, for instance, if you're eating 100 grams of fat per day, just take out 20 grams of those fats, right? So there is 9 calories per gram of fat. 9 times 2 is 180. So you take 180 calories from fat, and now you put those calories towards carbohydrates. Within the first week, 2 weeks, you will see progress. You will see your body transition. But the caveat behind it is, when you do that, there needs to be an adjustment each and every week, or each and every bi-weekly, based upon the progress your body's actually making. Because that's how you don't hit a plateau. You make adjustments based upon the progress your body's making, not based upon what you think you should do, how you feel, how you look. You make adjustments based upon the actual progress that you're making. And so the caveat behind it is this initially will help you make the initial progress and transition your body into a carbohydrate metabolism state. But the caveat behind it is that you have to understand how to change them, how much to change them, when to wait 2 weeks, and when the body is fully transitioned. And that's why we use certain data points within our clients to understand that fully. And, I wish I could sit here and tell you there's a one-size-fits-all way to do this. but it's not. Doesn't work like that. Each client comes to us in a different place, and each client takes a different set of hands-on activity and hands-on guidance to transition their body properly. And that is the importance of what we do for each and every single one of our clients. And so if you want to learn more about our program, there'll be a link in the description below, and there'll be a short little video. And if this is something that you want to learn more about, go ahead and watch that video, and it'll outline a little bit deeper about carbohydrate metabolism, metabolic priming, and you're more than happy to check out all the other videos on my channel, because the whole purpose and this whole channel is designed to help you, the viewers, understand why you're going wrong in your overall fat loss journey. Because I understand, I get it. Like, when you don't have clarity of direction, it becomes very confusing. You make sudden adjustments based upon emotional standpoints. And I understand how confusing, how frustrating that it can be. But I promise you, when you have clarity of direction, the progress becomes very easy. So if you like these type of videos, like, comment, and subscribe. I do videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you want to learn any more, have any questions around this that I can put on the channel to help the other viewers out, put in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.